Well, now that I think about it, I probably should have made this video of fishes of the Congo and not just random B-roll.
I don't even know if we have one single fish of the Congo on this video, do we? Is there one thing?
Maybe if we come to puffers.
I
What an obnoxious ad. I don't have ads on this. Oh, I'm loud.
What ad?
Sorry, Dave. There shouldn't be no ads on here. I don't have ads turned
There
on.
shouldn't be no. He is so outraged. His grammar has just gone right out.
Yeah, that means there
Gone.
should be ads because double negatives and such.
When you're dropping the double ends real hard.
Well, we are talking about fish of the Congo today, and we're going to give it a minute for people to roll on in here before we start.
Roll in, not out.
Fishes of the Congo
Working,
or fish?
lurking, and twerking, aquatic moose. Good for you.
Dollar bills.
That sounds very athletic of you. That's amazing.
Yeah, why are you guys getting an ad? That's new.
Hmm.
You know, they keep pressuring me to put ads, and I wonder if I just forgot to... Like, by default, they've been turning it on, and I keep have to turn... Like, every time I schedule a
dirty.
live stream, I have to manually turn them off.
Hi, gray moose. I just got an ad.
Intro ads, I got them too. Well,
Oh, Congo Tetras, yeah.
sorry about that, folks. And here's Nanochromis.
So one. Ding, ding, ding. Fish
There
of
we
the
go.
Congo. Everybody say something when you see a fish of the Congo on this. There might be a couple, actually, now that I think about it.
There might be a couple.
Maybe. I'm a triathlete. Good for you. I am not.
Oh, boy. There are gobies.
Oh.
Not...
I
and you
mean-
know what I don't think there are plecos. There are
No plecos?
sucker mouth catfish.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
But
there aren't any.
no plecostomus.
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
I'm pretty sure if you don't have premium, you get an ad no matter what and when. Well, it's up to me. It's up to the creator if there's ads, and there shouldn't be, so I apologize. We'll give this another couple seconds, and then we'll get started on our presentation.
Wow. I feel
PowerPoint.
like you're in school.
PowerPoint.
Stop it.
PowerPoint.
My sophomore year of high school, we had to learn all the Microsoft suite. It was like mandatory. It was the first year that was
Is
mandatory.
that the Sacramento High School?
It was in Sacramento.
Hmm.
Yeah. El
Interesting.
Camino. Yep. Good old East of it's falling apart when I went there. I was just telling you about that. Everyone. Hellos to everyone.
Yes, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Should talk about why clown loaches are the best instead. Well, see, I don't agree.
Who said that?
So that would be hard for me to talk about,
Who said
Branton.
that? Branton, I'm sorry.
I would agree if they stayed 5 inches and kept their beautiful colors.
Yeah, they're monsters.
Instead of when they get 14 inches and they turn gray and,
yeah.
you know,
Come
all
on
that,
now.
that color fades as they get large.
Come on now. It's a cop-out fish.
All right, so we are talking about the Congo River, the Malibu/Stanley Pool,
It was
apparently.
formerly known as the Stanley Pool. Now it's the Malibu Pool.
I wonder what Stanley did to get fired.
Done, brother. You're out. Malibu's in. I always want to say Malibu. Like I fight it very hard every single time. It wants to come out of my mouth.
Now, this is the first time we've ever done something like this, so I kept it kind of short. When I was making these slides, it was very easy for me to read the text, but then when I was going through the slides on YouTube, the text might be a bit small, so I apologize if that's the case.
I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be okay.
I would also like to thank, let me rephrase that. So we used a lot of images that are not our own. That came from like the Wet Spot, Dan's Fish. I tried to give credit where credit is due. Just a huge shout out to those two companies that continue to let me use their images. And you will find links for them in the description, discount codes. So go give them some love because I wouldn't be able to do this without them. Otherwise, you ready to get started?
I'm always ready to get started.
Fish of the Congo. How about that eel? What
Don't-
did you call it earlier? I don't think it's safe. for
Yeah,
YouTube.
can I say it? Because
No.
okay. Well,
No.
don't ask me and then tell me I can't say it. Come on now, that's dangling right in front of my face. All right.
And also, don't forget to hit like so we can get some more people in here.
Like.
We're gonna go through a little bit of history here. I think a little bit of history. So if you look at these awesome little fish traps,
That's pretty cool, actually.
before the aquarium trade, this is how they would catch them. And you might think, how are they catching, tetras and smaller fish in these traps? Well, they're not. These traps are for like mormyrids.
Yeah.
There are so many elephantnose species in the Congo. It's actually kind of ridiculous.
It's cool.
But this is how they would catch mormyrids, which is I find very interesting.
Makes me sad. But it's history.
Mm-hmm.
History can be sad.
I couldn't find any info about how like they check them once a day, but I couldn't find anything on how many they got out of something like this. But
Interesting
nonetheless.
Well, you can see so the Congo River has so many different types of flow in it. Like there are rapids like that they move very quickly, and there's a lot of fish that have adjusted to live in that type of environment, and then there's areas of it that are extremely placid. So it's an interesting river structure. There's a lot going on there, a lot.
And when I say the aquarium trade takes over, let's be honest, they're not exactly taking over the Congo. But now modern collection, obviously we have nets. They drag entire portions of rivers now. And now this is how we're going to get our tetras and our smaller stuff. And the Congo River is very large, so you're going to see a wide variety of fish here. Try to keep it more towards the pool, but there's just so many species that we kind of branch out a little bit.
And frankly, there's a lot of species that they say are available in the aquarium trade that I have yet to ever see actually available. So I think we kind of focused on fish that you can actually get your hands on and keep.
Until we get to the oddball section.
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe not there. But still, most of these fish are fish that you could find somewhere if you looked hard enough.
But that Massus embellus that we saw, the white eel, was sold by the Wet Spot at one time or another. They did have that in stock.
It's a wild looking fish. I think it really just depends on the time because, sometimes it's been easier to get in and out of that area, but not normally.
Now, I don't know if I mentioned this. I might have, but there's something around 1,100 fish that have been described in the Congo, and we see a very small, like 0.1% of those in the aquarium trade. Obviously, there's many issues in getting fish out of the Congo. On our recent trip there, you can see our little guide vehicle got stuck, and there we are standing off on the side waiting for them to dig us out.
I hate him so much.
But this is a lot of the infrastructure. A lot of the fish also are only collected in the flood seasons, which is very dangerous. Some people die collecting our aquarium fish, which is really sad.
Yeah, you wonder why they fetch such a high price point. People go through a lot to get them in, out, around, all the things.
It's not a safe area.
No,
so
it's
as you can see, we have a couple bodyguards there, and yeah, well, it was a fun trip.
Really laying that on thick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I hope nobody notices.
I don't know. It's a lot smaller now that I see
it. It is, and I'm so glad. It makes me so happy. But see, it's gonna fly right by everybody, and he's just gonna leave it here until somebody says something.
Yeah, Brant says you guys are looking good out there in the bush.
Branton.
Yeah.
Get out there in the bush. That was a nice addition. Well said.
Why does it look like that picture was
No
photoshopped?
way.
Because we're in the Congo. The technology is just not there. So, we don't have 4K or 1080p in the Congo.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
we're on dial-up, so it's very pixelated.
Oh my God, I can't. Okay, moving
All right,
along.
we're gonna get right into Cherisons here.
Let's get right into it.
And I want to talk about the bloodcap moon tetra, or sometimes called just a bloodcap tetra.
Mm-hmm.
These are how would I say as far as when they grow out? These are like a bleeding heart tetra as far as that round deep body tetra.
Yeah.
This is one that Dan has had a few times. They're not big sellers.
No, they're not.
But I think they're absolutely stunning. One thing you don't see in the picture is the shimmer, the silver. You can kind of see the barring, I guess, the vertical barring. That really stands out if it's under a really good light. Why is Bob smaller than Chelsea? Because she's closer to the camera. It's all about perspective. I think you'll find I handled that question very well.
Yeah.
Just right off the cuff like that.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. Have you ever seen Elistio Pterius
Alestiopetersius.
Yeah. Because this might be the most beautiful tetra I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. So they're just different types of Congo tetras. That's one of the types of Congos. And the finnage, like they remind me a lot of Fantastiques with that, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like that shredded looking finnage, but it's absolutely beautiful. And all the different colors, the yellows, the oranges, and like the silvers. It's like you took a typical Congo tetra, the Interruptus, and turned it into like set it on fire. I mean, it really is a gorgeous fish, and it's a sizable fish too.
I'd like to point out that all of these photos are not photoshopped, so I did no color enhancing on this. How do you say it?
Alestiopetersius.
Wow.
Nigropterus.
Now, what about the Caudalis?
The Caudalis, a little less showy, but still the yellow tail is really, it's a lot prettier in real life. That picture does not do it justice. You'll have like really hard hits of yellow on the fins, which is pretty. Again, these are fish that are sizable, which I really am a fan of because you can keep them with a bevy of different types of fish, like cichlids and things like that, because they're fast moving for the most part. Not all of them, but most of them are pretty quick moving. They're deep bodied. The one thing you want to make sure of is that you don't have any fin nippers with these guys, but they're really, all of these, I think all of the Congo tetra, the different types of Congo tetra we're going to show you are absolutely stunning and worth keeping. But they do fetch, like we were saying, a higher price point because people go through a lot to get them, and not a lot of people breed these specific types. So
I will say the few times I've seen these fish in the aquarium, their fins are shredded. So yeah, definitely no fin nippers. And I agree. The why don't you say that middle one again?
Nigropterus.
Can we get a common name on this already, folks? Come on.
That one's a hard. I really struggle with that.
Its dorsal fin is really like Glossolepis, as mentioned in chat.
Yeah.
Like the tattered.
Tattered.
Fins.
That's nicer than shredded.
Yeah.
We'll take tattered.
Tattered.
It's tattered.
We have a request that you only pronounce the Latin names. This is why I'm defaulting to you.
If there was one thing in life that I could be good at.
Now, we keep the Ranakas, so what do you got to say about those?
Man.
You see that? I got that right.
Got that right. I don't have words for how much I love these fish. As beautiful as I hoped they would be, they're more beautiful. They have settled in so nicely. They love the tank they're in, and they're not fearful at all. When we first got them, they were terrified. You got near the front of the tank, and they would hide. They weren't colored up. Little bit of patience and, a comfortable tank, and these guys are very bold. They're gorgeous. I can't believe that they exist in real life. They're one of those fish for me that I look at them and I go, how are you real? Like, how do you look like that so perfectly? And just, like, I would die to see that in the wild. I probably would die if I went to go see it in the wild. But I would love to see that fish swimming around in a river because I can't even imagine. Because I think we all know that fish in nature, the color is just unrivaled. So they're really, really great fish. As long as you have the right tank for them, they're worth $40-$45 a piece, I have to say. They're amazing.
And we will take questions kind of throughout this. We're not going to wait till the end, so we want the questions to be on topic, so as long as they're about the fish we're looking at. Which is kind of on topic here. How did the Interruptus become one of the most commonly bred Congo Tetras? Because they're very easy to spawn.
Super easy.
And also where they're collected is not in the most dangerous regions of the Congo either.
When you hit on a fish that's easy to breed, I think this is kind of obvious, but I'm just going to say it anyways. A fish that's easy to breed obviously will take off regardless of where it comes from. If you get something from a very difficult locale, but yet you can spawn it like crazy, it's pretty easy to see just within time it's going to drop those prices and be more readily available, which is exactly what's happened with the Congo, with the regular old Interruptus.
However, the adult males are still pretty spendy for what they are, I think. I believe they're a little overpriced. But that's
I agree with you. They're big, though. These fish are big, people. I don't know. Like, I just have to say this. Like, I've had adult Congo Tetras that were 3.5 inches, and they move fast. Fast.
Now, I really want to get some of the Burchardi.
Yeah, the Burchardi are gorgeous.
Their
body shapes are different.
This photo, I will admit, might be a little photo shop, not by me.
No.
But when you get the males in sparring dress, it's almost identical to what they look like here.
Their body, like I was saying, their body shape is a lot different than most of the other Congos. I'd say that about the Ranakas too. They're a little more blimp shaped and not so stout. But these guys, they have that more straight. They almost remind me of a rainbow fish, like at a tetra mixed together. I don't know. They have that elongated, more narrow body, but that finnage, all of the Congo Tetras have the prettiest fins. Like they've got so much going on and they're all different, which I think is really interesting.
I got to be honest though about the Burchardi. When they're not fired up and spawning,
Boring.
they're kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
So
They don't look like $50 fish when you see them.
No. However, the Orontiacus always looks like a $50 fish.
Does not matter the time of day. They look perfect all the time.
And Zach says, I just bought more Lampi Congos from the Wet Spot. I hope you
Good
enjoyed the $26
man.
commission. I sure enjoyed the $29
You know what, Zach?
discount.
Thank you, brother, because I'm proud of you for that purchase and we appreciate it.
It's even. We got $26 and you got basically
Win-win.
$26.
And the fish are going to get a good home. Win.
Mm-hmm,
See?
mm-hmm.
It's all okay. I love this next fish.
Yeah, so the Trileniatus,
I love
not
this fish.
everyone likes a big, showy, flashy, colorful fish.
Hello.
And these guys, I believe there's, 4, maybe 5 species of Neolabius
Yes, there are.
in the Congo. However, this is by far the most common
It's
one.
so cute.
And the
Yeah, they're usually in that
maybe
like 10 to
15
15
tops.
range, I think.
They're called the Trileniatus because they do have
Three
3 horizontal lines going across their body.
So
But
cute.
tell us about the. Also, if you guys can let me know in chat how that text looks, because to me it looks very small and awful.
That one didn't turn out too nice. But the other ones were not that bad. I don't know why this one seems to be weird.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's okay because we're telling you about it. You don't have to read. So just relax.
It's my first time.
Kick
First
back.
try. I don't
Kick
know why I'm
back.
stuttering, but there you go. So tell us about the Trileniatus.
What I think is super cool about the Trileniatus is that they are so small. I think the Congo offers us a lot of really cool fish. Many of them are larger growing. We don't have a whole lot of teeny tiny fish coming out of the Congo River system. These guys stay very small. They're very peaceful. You're not going to get a whole lot of flash, but like their behavior, I think just their movements and being such small fish that you can keep in, different types of you can keep them in a large tank, absolutely, but you can also keep them in a smaller tank, which I think we're limited to a very few species of fish that we can actually keep in nano tanks. And these guys are almost nano. Like I would almost say they're maybe like a 20 gallon, but they're super easy to keep. From what I understand, they're really hardy. I wish they were around more because you really don't see them. I think that's the most annoying thing with a lot of these fish, and specifically the Trileniatus, is I see them available maybe a couple times a year and they last, until they're gone and then you're waiting. It's just one of those types of things where you have to jump on it when you see them. But I really want to keep them. They're on my list for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait.
I think we're going to jump to some cichlids now.
Oh, the good stuff, yeah.
And my favorite dwarf cichlids, the Nanochromis, any of the Nanochromis. There's
Yeah, any of them. Yes.
debatable 4 or 5 species that have been in the hobby. The Paralis and the Consortis have kind of been mixed. So
Nudiceps is what the last one, right?
Yep. And I have kept the Transvestitis, the Splendens, what was sold to me as Consortis, and the Nudiceps throughout my career. I do like the Nanochromis Splendens the best. I think they're the most showy of the species. And when the males are sparring, they are absolutely beautiful. Very peaceful. They get a very small 3 inches. And what I mean by that is
Narrow.
their bodies are very long and skinny like a pencil.
Yeah.
What do you got to say about these guys?
When I first got the first type I got were the Splendens, and I was so excited. The males just blew my mind. They were absolutely gorgeous in real life. Like that photo's perfect. That's really what they look like when they're hopping around and everything. Which that's another thing I love about them, that they hop. The one thing that pissed me off was I wanted to spawn these so bad, and I figured they were going to be similar to my Pelvicchromis, where there were some species within that genus that were a little harder, but for the most part, I had luck, and these guys never spawned for me. And then I would read stuff that said like, "Oh, I spawned them, I didn't even pay attention to what I was doing," and I'm like, "Okay."
What's the fish magazine?
Amazonas?
Yeah, Amazonas had an article on the Splendens, and it talked about how easy they are to spawn.
Just throw them in a tank, and they just spawn for you. I'm like, BS,
And
man.
I have yet to meet anyone that has spawned any
No.
Nanochromis.
I've kept
so-
them multiple times too throughout my fish, but nothing, absolutely nothing. But I don't care honestly, because at the end of the day, I'd keep them regardless. They're just their bravado is really fun to watch. I had them in a really chill tank, and they're such little cichlids. They're just perfect little cichlids. They have all the attitude and the flair, but they love to like burrow in things and hide and pop out. I love fish that pop out of stuff.
They love their caves.
They do love their cave. I mean, it was so funny just to see their little faces all poke out. Like, they're just great fish.
There's been some discussion of maybe, the pH needs to be as low as 5. I know a breeder that tried that and still couldn't. I'd be curious if someone, maybe like a Mitchell Broom, has tried spawning these, but I've yet to meet anyone that has spawned them. So if you have, there's a feather in your cap, let us know. I'd love to know what it was that you did to get them to spawn.
Yeah, because we spawned the freaking Drachenfelsai when everyone said they shouldn't spawn anything but 5, and why can't we get the Nanochromis?
Mm-hmm.
Crack
and
the code.
Speaking of Drachenfelsai,
yes,
you're gonna give us a little spiel on Pelvicchromis.
Pelvicchromis are like, seriously, I think one of my favorite species of fish. There's so many. I can't even quantify. There's so many different types of Pelvicchromis. There's one for everybody. A lot of them look similar, but there are some that, like the Subocellatus, looks very different than a lot of them. But specifically Drachenfelsai, which I would say is the top of my list.
That's my favorite too.
I've kept a lot of species, probably like 10 different species of Pelvicchromis, and I love the Drachenfelsai. The color on the females is ridiculous. The males have these amazing patterns on their fins. They're just really cool little fish. They're a little bit on the smaller side for Pelvicchromis. Like with Crebensis, they're a little larger. I'd say the Drachenfelsai is a little bit smaller than that. I've kept Taniotis. I don't know about, is it Dehaney? I don't know how to say that, but I don't know what my collection point was on mine, but I loved the Taniotis. There's different collection points within it. There's just a million different types, and I've never been upset with any of the types I've kept. So I'd recommend them to everybody. They're really, you could even keep a pair in like a 20-gallon tank, and they'll probably spawn like crazy for you. So make sure you have something to do with the babies. Some species within there a little bit harder than others, like the Drachenfelsai. But
they're not fast sellers, which is very sad.
Yeah, it sucks. You'll never see a local fish store without like a whole tank full of, little half-inch Pelvicchromis, because somebody couldn't get rid of them. So I don't get it though, because to me they're just the bang for your buck is amazing. You normally can get a pair for like $30-$40, and I mean as long as you have somewhere to take the babies, they almost pay for themselves.
Some of these, like the Drachenfelsai, are going to run you like 60, but still,
even
completely worth it.
Absolutely. I don't think they're. Yeah, I think that's right.
I think if you go back far enough on my channel, you'll see me spawning the Malibu, which are probably my second favorite of all the different types.
I really liked my Sylviae, and I believe they have those at the wet spot right now. Those are a really great one. Like, there's just so many different Pelvicchromis that we have available to us, and I think that any of them would be a win for people to keep, and like very, very hardy fish. If your Pelvicchromis aren't doing well, it's your fault. That's how I feel about that.
Buffalo heads. So we've
God.
talked a lot about these fish the last month or two, now that we've keep them, and I've always loved them. I love the fish. I love most fish that have like a protruding forehead, because it's like looking in the mirror.
Oh my God.
And the reason I've always stayed away from these is because I've heard they're angry. I've heard they spawn like guppies. And while they are easy to spawn, they definitely don't spawn like guppies. And in my experience so far, they haven't been angry at all. They've been territorial, but not angry.
I've kept these guys for years. I kept the
there is a sorry to interrupt. There's a third. What's the third species that I kept off the list here?
Oh my God! Why do I always forget it?
You under the spot, because it's not nearly as common.
No, it's the Irvini, but I can't remember the pseudocyclosoma. Yeah, pseudocyclosoma is the other one. Irvini. It's the blue lip buffalo, which
the blue lip.
I have heard can be a little more cantankerous than these guys, which I don't know. I've never kept it, so I can't verify. But I've kept the Cassoarius, which are your standard buffalo heads, for years, and I probably had kept those for about a year when I then got my hands on the Tenanti, which are the slender buffalo heads, and I was like, okay, no offense to the Cassoarius, but the Tenanti is by far my favorite. That's what we keep currently. They are just amazing. Their personalities are ridiculous. They're the most cichlidy of cichlids, if that makes sense. They are right out in your face. I swear, whenever we bring the camera around ours, he comes out and starts prancing around. Like, he loves to be on camera.
He does love showboating.
He's a showboater. And the females stay freakishly small. I know it says 4
bizarre.
inches, but I want to say most of them top out at like 2.5, 3.
admittedly got these backwards. the
Yeah, no,
sizes.
that's probably accurate. Yeah, absolutely. So 4 inches for the Castorius females, but the Tenanti females are like, they look like babies, and you see them next to the males that they're like 5 inches and huge.
They're
and
literally like double the size.
it's hilarious, but that's just the way it is. So, but I can't recommend a fish more if you have the proper setup. You need a 40-gallon at least for a pair of these. They love a big rock pile. They love caves. They will hop all around on it. It's so enjoyable to watch. They are not aggressive. They are territorial. I think there is a very distinct difference between the two, and these guys, I'd never label them as aggressive. I've never seen them actually cause damage to any fish. I've just seen them chase them out of their area, which they're cichlids. Like, what do you expect, you know? So definitely keep these guys if you want to see a cool fish with a reduced swim bladder. These guys live in the rapids. This is what I was talking about. They live in the rapids in the Congo River, and they need to hold on. So they have a reduced swim bladder, which allows them to be less buoyant and stay on the ground. You will never see these guys swimming. They will hop. That's what they do.
Very goby-ish.
Yeah, very much like a goby.
All right, so 2 of these I absolutely love. I've never kept the Thomasi, and if you can tell by the picture, I couldn't even find a good picture, a copyright-free picture of the Thomasi, so that's what we're stuck with. But I want to start with the Teleogramma brichardi, or
Such a
as
fun name.
people call them, danger noodles, which really, one, I think is just stupid. I have kept a pair of these, and again, I've been very unsuccessful with a lot of these Congo species of cichlids, so I never got mine to spawn. But when the male is courting the female, he gets these beautiful reds right around his gills, and they look almost like a purplish red. It's very beautiful. If you know me, you know I like long, thin, torpedo-like fish like these. These are also ones that just bop around on the bottom. You'll never see them. I mean, they'll jump to the top, you know, occasionally, but most of their time is going to spend on the bottom, just jumping around like a goby. So I feel like this is another one that's been kind of overblown as far as the aggression. People are, again, I feel like they're confusing their territory as aggression. Like, they're just guarding their territory. That's all they're doing. I've actually kept these with Pygmaeus corridoras, which are like the smallest corridoras, with no problems at all. So tell me again how dangerous this fish is when I keep them with cute little Pygmaeus corridoras. The females are a little more bland, as per the usual with fish. But if you ever come across these, I cannot recommend them enough. You will have this is a fish where you can just, like the buffalo heads, I feel like, where you could just sit and watch them, and they're just going to be goofballs in their own little world. They don't even bother with the other fish in the tank.
They all look like Muppets to me. Even the brichardi, like they look fake. It looks like someone drew a picture and they came to life, and that's what these are. And I love watching them.
And then I want to talk about probably one of my biggest failures in the hobby, and that is the Pseudocrenolabris nicolsi. I got a hold of these, I want to say, in like 2016 or 2017. Threw them in a 40 breeder. They were pretty much full grown, 3.5 inches. And this is a fish that, like, every month one would die. And after like 6-7 months, I had none left.
That's so sad.
I never figured out why. I was very disappointed. And then I want to say maybe like in 2020, 2019, they showed up on one of my lists again, and I ordered them, and I was so excited to try again. And I had the exact same experience where they just slowly died off, one every 2 to 4 weeks, like clockwork.
It's like checkerboard cichlids for me. I hate that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people have had really good success with these. So if you come across them, they're insanely colorful. They're really beautiful. They're peaceful. I've had people tell me that they can't get theirs to stop breeding. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but don't let my story with these fish persuade you from not getting them, because they are absolutely beautiful and a joy to keep. And you know what? I'd probably try again, especially now that I'm in a different area with different water. If I was to come across these again, I would get them. And do you have any experience with the Thomasi? Because I do not.
Yeah, I've kept a lot of Thomasi. They are very cichlidy. So they only get about 2.5, 3 inches. They're really small fish, but they can be a little jerky to each other, and jerky to other fish. So I tried to keep them with like my cribs, I believe, and that obviously was an experiment because they both kind of occupy the same area. Like I'd say the Thomasai are a little more mid-level than cribs, but they still kind of were in each other's areas, and luckily it was heavily planted, so they ended up being all right. But these guys are very fun to keep. They remind me of a lot of Akara, so they're, you know, they're stout and short and kind of just, I don't know, I would be careful if keeping them in like with multiple males. I would make sure I had one male and multiple females if I kept them, but when you have that mix, it's actually really enjoyable. And you can keep them with different tetra. They don't care about tetra. They don't care about barbs. They don't care about anything like that. Just other similarly sized cichlids I've seen them be jerky with. And I'm very lenient when I label a fish jerky. Like, I don't want to, I'll give fish their territorialism and things like that, but I feel like these guys just have a lot of attitude for being such a small little fish. So that's what I'm going to say
Kind of like a
about
Victorian cichlid
them.
then.
Yeah. They just kind of have, they're like, you know what, I'm awesome and everyone's going to know about it and get out of my way. And they are awesome. They're really pretty fish. What this
Cocky
picture,
little bastards, huh?
they're that they are. They look very different from that normally. They have like a really dark spot. They kind of remind me of like an apistogramma and a German blue ram mixed together. I don't know. They're very pretty fish. Very pretty.
Speaking of barbs, I think we're going to head into some cypriforms now.
Ooh, these are good ones. Yeah.
Cypriniforms, I should say.
These are good ones.
Boy. Those ones on the right, I would love to keep those one of these days. The Barbus J. I actually believe these are now all reclassified as Irit modus, but a lot of people still have them under Barbus. So if you come across that, it is the same fish.
Always
Don't
be
worry.
Barbus to me.
Always be Barbus. Tell us about the fasciolatus.
So in my desperate hope to find a schooling fish that wasn't Congo Tetra or $50 a piece Congo Tetra to go with my spotted Congos and my Nanochromis, I was searching anything West African. I basically was looking for West African schooling fish. And I came across Barbus fasciolatus. So that's the African banded barb. Sometimes they're called the fire barb. They have like a bunch of common names, which annoy me. But they turned out to be one of my best purchases. I was very reticent because I'm not a big barb fan. Because you know how barbs can be. They can be nippy and annoying. And I had a spotted Congo Puffer. So I had a $200 fish. I didn't want any nippy little jerks in there with it. These turned out to be the exact opposite. They did not pay any attention to the spotted Congo Puffer. They loosely shoal. I wouldn't call them a schooling fish at all, but they loosely shoal. The males are a little more slender bodied and they turn that color red. They turn that like beautiful orange red, super bright, very vibrant. And they get about 2.5 inches, and they're pretty solid bodied too. So they're a good size. You can keep them with a lot of different things. They're not going to get eaten. Obviously, I got mine when they were babies. They had very little color, and it took them some time to color up. They were, you know, it was probably about 6 months before I started to see any significant color. But absolutely wonderful barb to keep. Like a super peaceful barb, not your typical barb qualities, the way barbs are labeled. They're just, they're perfect fish. And we've actually kept them for a while now, and they spawned for us. And I don't think we would have ever noticed if Corey didn't point it out.
Yep, Corey was in our fish room and is like, hey, there's fry in here.
I was like, what the hell? Like, that's so exciting. I remember coming home and I think I was just on cloud nine because I love these fish so much and they're so underrated. And I think they're so underrated because you just don't see them anywhere. They're very rarely available and they're very affordable. They're not an expensive fish by any means. So if you guys ever have the opportunity to buy these in the wet spot, I've seen them there multiple times, but it's kind of hit or miss. Check for these guys. They're a really, really great option if you want nice hits of color. They look great in a planted aquarium. They don't bother your plants at all. Just can't say enough good things about them. They're just great
and
fish.
Dan has been known to get these a time or two as well.
There you go.
And I want to say that red is very accurate of a spawning male. So they're not always going to look like that, but when they're fired up, they are that red. And now we're going to kind of go from an inexpensive barb to an expensive barb. And these guys are going to run you, the Barbus J, they're going to run you about $25, give or take.
They're so pretty,
$5.
though.
But
they're so pretty.
This is an absolutely horrible photo.
And it's still pretty.
No, it's a good quality photo. It just doesn't show the color at all.
Yeah, the color is ridiculous.
It should be even more red than the fasciolatus. When you see these in person, they are a very deep, bright.
They're like
dark,
fire engine red.
Yeah, I don't even know how to. Yeah, that's
fire
pretty good,
engine
pretty good.
red. Yeah.
Solid
red too.
Tell us about Jay.
I just
Jay.
Yay.
Yay.
I feel like these, again, so many of the West African fish we just don't see available. And I think they're at a price point where they price people out. People don't want to spend that much money on something they know that little about. Like, these aren't widely known about or kept, as far as I'm aware. I've only known a few people that have kept J-Barbs. But I think, again, if you're looking for something that's peaceful, that's not going to be super nippy, that just a solid, pretty fish to put in a planted tank, especially if you're doing like a biotope. If you are trying to find West African fish specifically, this is such a good option. There's not a lot that we can get in the aquarium trade, so...
There's probably, in my research, maybe about 30 species of barbs from the Congo that are available in the aquarium trade, but hardly ever available.
Yeah, like they'll come a couple times a year, and if you don't jump on them, that's it. You're not going to see them for a while.
And exporting from the Congo is a gamble.
Yes.
I know people that have lost thousands of dollars. I don't know why I said it like that, but
thousands.
Thousands.
Thousands. That's how it worked. It worked.
Because they pay these people and then they just never ship them. And what are you going to do? It's not like you're going to go to the Congo and like bust their nose. But
no,
Leo,
that wouldn't work out.
Leo says, what do you guys think would work in a 20-gallon acrylic for a Congo tank or too small? No.
Okay.
I will say some of the largest fish in our hobby come from the Congo, as well as some of the smallest, like the Barbs hulstartii. This was our next fish. These guys are very small.
Yeah, they're cool though.
Females are going to be about an inch. At the bottom there is the female. The male is on top with the yellow at about an inch and a half. Would be perfect for a 20-gallon tank, Leo.
So my honorable mention would also be perfect for that tank.
Ooh.
But it's not in this. It's not a cypriniform.
Is it a clown killie?
No, it's not.
From the Congo.
It's a Anstorgii, which we didn't put on here, which are such good fish.
How do you know?
What do I kept them.
There's still some more slides left.
Oh, did you put them on there?
Maybe.
Oh, boy.
Probably not.
They're so annoying. Whip does the same thing to me that you do. Something annoyed me, you say it. So, yeah, I may be annoyed a little bit.
And, Leo, even like the Barbs J would be good.
Yeah, that would work in there. What is this girl doing?
So I can't tell you much about these little dudes, as I've never kept them myself.
They're so cool, though.
They're very rare to find in the aquarium trade. I'm telling you, if you ever come across these, you have to get them. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, because they're...
If you don't, we're going to be pissed off.
I mean, I think they're very unique, especially for a barb. To me, they look more like a rasbora.
They look like raspberries, yeah.
Which obviously, same category, but you know what I mean.
They do look like a lot of rasbora species. That same body shape, for sure.
But I am a sucker for black and white stripes like a zebra, and I'm also a sucker for yellow and black contrast. And
that's very nice.
These fit that bill. And if I ever come across these, I will definitely get a large school of them.
Yes, that would be very cool. I'd be down for that.
What are we gonna go to next? Is it
oddballs?
By shears maybe? Oh no. More cypriniforms.
No, these are cherisons. Lots of cherison, Disotus.
I think it's debatable.
Okay.
I think it's debatable.
I don't even care because I love the Disotus, so we don't even need a debate. I can just talk about one of my favorite fish I've ever kept in my life.
I will say, and as far as Disotus, there's about 4 or 5 species that you're going to find in the hobby from there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The other ones all look like watermelon or the Aphanis. Mm-hmm. They all are black and red, I swear, except for the Teguslii.
And most of them are so large and need to be kept in groups that a lot of us would not want to keep them because of the space you would need for these.
So the
Teguslii.
If you squint and look, you'll see some red on their dorsal fin. Yeah. It's super cool.
Super cool.
And the longer you squint and look, this is like those 3D puzzles.
You'll see it. Just squint and look at it for a long time.
It's a sailboat, not a schooner.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But this is a fish that the more you look at it, the more you appreciate it.
Oh, and so good.
Yeah, you turned me onto this fish. We keep them now. Tell us about them.
They live in my favorite tank, so they live with the lamp-eye Congos and the spotted Congo Puffer. And at first, they were a little shy, and I think they are kind of known as a more retiring species. They're not super boisterous. Well, let me tell you, in our aquarium, they're pretty boisterous now. They've settled in for a long time.
I would say it took about 8 months for them to settle in.
It did. It was a long time.
We would come in there and be like, did they all die?
Yeah.
Did they all jump out? Where'd they go?
They are a type of fish that really needs cover. Not like tight cover, but just, some branches. Like we have spiderwood and bulbitis, and that's perfect for them.
And also, ditherfish really help.
Yes. So the lampi Congos, them being together with the lampi Congos for both of those fish made such a huge difference. Once they were put together, they just kept going.
I got to interrupt because I really like this comment by My Thanau. It says, man, I feel like watching this has elevated me to new levels of fish nerdiness.
Thank you. That's really nice.
I actually really like that comment.
That is a very nice thing to say.
And for everyone else that's bugging, I realize my spacing on all these photos is not
Everybody
right
calm
on,
down, all right?
And it's really bugging me. If it's bugging you, I apologize. I tried my best.
He would have gotten a good grade on this from my sophomore year teacher who taught this class.
Anyways, back to Disotus.
So I think a lot of you know I'm not a fan of super colorful fish. I don't need a lot of color to be pleased with a fish. That's not my thing. I am big on iridescence, which is why I love different Geophagus, because there's a lot of iridescence.
What color
there.
is iridescent?
Any color. All colors.
Okay, fair.
It's the rainbow. It literally is every color. These guys, I'd say they pull green with their iridescence. It's like a green sheen on a dark brown black base, and then they have that hit of red. What?
It's myth now, not my now. I'm an idiot.
Wow. That was all him. I didn't even try and read it, to be fair, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there.
Whip really got it.
Oh, that's
Says
funny.
myth.
I got called out.
What a buffoon.
So these fish are not cheap. Like all these so many of these fish are not cheap. These guys are 30 to 40 bucks a piece, and for a long time that's what kept me away from them, and they were gifted to us for our very special time in our life. It was a very special gift, very special fish, and
From Dan.
Dan.
Shout out Dan's Fish.
Oh, absolutely.
Dansfish.com.
Boop, boop,
Use
boop,
code
boop.
Steenfott Aquatics.
Dan sent us a bunch of these guys, and I've never been more pleased with behavior. They're so fun to watch. They're such enjoyable fish. Their movements, they're like little mini whales. They remind me of mini whales. I don't know. There's just something about them.
They just kind of stroll around.
They stroll around. They love to play. Like, they're always with the Congo Tetra, which is what I love. They're just always in this big mass, and I'm like, God, you guys are gorgeous. They get females get a lot larger than the males. I've noticed that. The females get very deep bodied and probably half an inch larger than the males, and I'd say they top out around 3.5, maybe 3.5 inches, maybe, but usually around like 3 inches. So they're a perfect size, but they are a very social fish. So this is the thing that I think might keep those of us who do our research and then maybe go look into it away. You need at least 6 of them, I'd say, for them to really calm down and start to show better behavior. We're lucky to have a pretty good sized group of them, so they're a little more emboldened by that, but you can't keep one. Like, it just wouldn't work. And even a couple, they need a group. So if any of you are so inclined and you see these guys available, because again, you will not see them available often. However, I do think the Wet Spot has them right now, potentially.
This is the one time where I feel like a less colorful fish is worth the $35 or
right.
$40, however much they are.
And I think I've been tempted to make a short of them because I've gotten some good footage of their iridescence and like their color really coming through, and I feel like if people were able to see what they really look like in your aquarium, they might be very tempted to
Let
get
us
them.
know in the chat and in the comments afterwards if you want Chelsea to start making more shorts, because I do.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I have a lot of footage for that, but these guys in particular, I take a lot of video of that tank, and they look pretty spectacular, and I think people would really, really enjoy them and feel like it was worth it, the money. They're just great fish.
Now, the Nanochromis calipteris is, in my opinion, just a very classy looking fish.
It's a very streamlined fish with good scale size.
It's like a fish that wears a tuxedo.
It's very dapper.
They get kind of a thick 3 inches.
They look thick.
Not as thick as the Disotus
No,
affinis.
the finis is
Holy
very
smokes.
thick, yeah.
A little too many pizzas in his diet. But
Yeah.
these guys are just, if you want, how can I describe this? Imagine like 20 bottlenose dolphins schooling around the ocean. That's what you're going to get with these fish. Just, just like the, why can I say that word? Tugelsee. Not a lot of flash, but a lot of, it's not even iridescence. It's just contrast, maybe, is the word I'm looking for.
Metallic. They're very metallic, which I think
that's
is
better.
really
You're
cool.
much better with words.
But they are, though.
wording.
They have that almost like tuna, like that like sheen.
Tuna.
They're like tuna.
Big tuna.
Head for open waters.
Got a 185-pounder.
I forgot about that one.
So anyways.
Okay. Yeah, they're I think they're for a specific person with a specific tank. It's one of those things. They're not tiny. So keep that in mind.
This is one where if you had like a 40-gallon tank and you got 6 of them, you're gonna be like, eh.
Yeah.
But if you had like a 220 and you got like a couple dozen of them, you're gonna be like,
that'd
this
sweet.
fish is dope.
Absolutely.
It's a straight dope.
Just, you want to probably have a larger tank to enjoy these guys, and a good number of them for sure. That sums it up nicely. And the Aphanis, well,
These guys, I mean, they're shaped like watermelons.
they literally are like as tall as they are wide, long, whatever. You know what I mean?
I've gotten to see these in person a few times, and they get big. They're gonna
Yeah,
get
they do.
big. So this is like a 6 foot, 8 foot tank.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even keep these in a 125 because I
No.
feel like they're
200 and up.
They need to be in a group for
Yeah,
one.
200
So
and up.
a group of these.
They're pretty though.
And if they were just 6 inches, say like a Parkinsoni rainbow, sure, keep them in a 125. But because they're tall, like an angelfish or a discus, it just looks cramped in a 125.
And they move too, so they're movers. They move around. They're not fish that just sit there.
They're grooving.
They're doing things, making it happen. So, again, for the right kind of person who likes larger tanks and bigger fish, but they're still a beautiful fish.
And one thing that I would like to mention, all of these fish from the Congo are going to, well, not all of them, most of them are going to fetch a pretty high price because of what it takes to get them.
Yep.
But because they're a lot of people confuse price with difficulty as far as keeping them. This was a big thing when like the zebra pleco hit the hobby, and they were like $500, and everyone thought that they were just like this glass fish that you look at wrong and they're just gonna die. Well, no, zebra plecos are very hardy. These fish are very hardy.
We don't equate price to vulnerability or to like, you know what I mean? Like how susceptible that it really, a lot of times, like with spotted Congo puffers, I think is a great example. That's a solid fish. Like they are very hardy. You'd have to do a lot to make them uncomfortable, and they're $200. So, there you go. Speaking of them, I was going to say that's a good introduction because Tetraodon Shoutadenai. There they are.
Shout.
My favorite puffer
Shout.
Fish ever.
Let it
And
all out.
even though nobody watched the video, I don't care.
These are the things. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I can do without.
Right. Yeah, I could do without that. Thank
Come on.
you. So,
Talking to
again,
you.
how many times am I going to say in this presentation that I've never been happier to keep a fish? But again, I have never been happier to keep a fish than the spotted Congo puffer. The first one I got years ago from the wet spot was like the joy of my life. I remember being like worth every penny within like 24 hours of owning it. I mean, they're such personable little guys. They follow you around. They're the perfect size. Getting that, like females get like 3.5, maybe 4 inches, and males get about 3 inches. They're just solid fish. You cannot go wrong with them. They can live in a 40 breeder. I think they look great in like a 75. If you have the room, give it to them, but they can do well in a 40 breeder. So that's a pretty easy fish to keep, in my opinion. Anything you can fit in there that is that cool. I mean, what more can you ask for? The price point could be a little bit better, but Mountaintop is
starting to
working
come
on
down.
that, right? Keep bringing
And I
those,
will
buddy.
say they look really good with this green and yellow background.
They do look nice with that.
Just point
very,
that out.
very, very lemon limey. I like it.
this color.
Yeah.
It's like the mellow yellow car
Call
in
me
Days
mellow
of Thunder.
yellow. Oh God, yeah. Oh my God, nice. Good one.
Anything else to say about these guys?
You know,
You have to worry about teeth.
you do. Okay, thank you for saying that. You do not have to worry about their teeth. That is the only
Unless you're just
puffer-
feeding them worms for 5 years straight.
Yeah, like even then though, if you were to drop a cube when they're frozen in, that would be enough to keep their teeth down. Just that frozen cube would probably suffice for them. They really don't have fast growing teeth. In fact, I can say of the many I've kept, I've never seen teeth on any of them. Granted, I've fed mine snails. If you do keep these, I would recommend having a regular supply of ram's horns or bladder snails or something that you keep in another tank. That's what we do. We have an endless number of snails in our fish room, and it really serves these puffers. Our female looks like a lollipop, so things are going well here. But if you have the opportunity to keep these and you're willing to shell out $200, please do it because they're amazing fish. They really are.
Plus shipping.
Plus shipping, yes, plus shipping. But they also, I've said this in our video, the crazy thing to me was when I learned that they used to be readily available everywhere in the hobbies in the hobby in 60s and 70s, and they cost like $5 to $20 to spend. Like they were dirt cheap. Everybody had them, and I'm just thinking, God, what if we could get those today for $20? Can you imagine that? It's crazy. It's crazy.
And a fish none of us should probably keep.
No.
unless your name is Mountaintop Puffer Keeper and you have a pool or an 800-gallon, like some of us have.
Some of us. Yeah.
Or now a 1,500-gallon, but
Oh,
I ain't mad.
yeah.
I ain't mad. The Malibu Puffer, and I have greedily kept this fish myself. Obviously the largest freshwater puffer in the world. Big.
Large.
Chunky.
2 feet.
Basically a spotted Congo puffer,
On
extra
steroids.
large.
Yeah.
So in the aquarium trade, they're going to get about 2 feet. I don't think I've ever seen one bigger than maybe 24 inches. However, I don't know if this is true, but in researching this topic, I have seen reports of them reaching up to 40 inches plus in the wild.
That's insanity.
Which to me, it's like I need a picture, you know, like
Prove it.
Pick or it didn't happen.
Prove it.
But there are many reports out there of them in the upper 30s. So is 40 plus out of reach?
There could probably be one.
Maybe not. I don't know. But they get huge in the wild. Not so much in our tanks, though.
2 feet still huge. People don't buy one. Don't do it. Just get a spotted Congo puffer instead, or a cross river puffer. Honorable mention.
Not from the Congo, but a little farther south of this.
Correct.
But it was almost close enough to make the list.
Yeah. But we had good options in the Congo, so it's fine.
Mine got to about 8 inches before it prolapsed, and
So sad.
it survived for a couple weeks, but there's really nothing you can do about that, and it was pretty sad.
It's very sad.
Little Steen.
R.I.P.
Little Steen was his name. And I've also kept the Murius, and I think maybe Leo might have one of these as well.
Potato puffer. They do look like freaking potatoes. Although when they turn red, it's pretty amazing.
This is another disaster story for me in the puffer realm. I got one of these, and it's man, this is a brutal one, folks, and it's hard for me to even talk about.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
But a hang on back filter.
Oh god.
Apparently really angered my little potato. And he was, I assume, was attacking it because I came home and he got the strainer off. He got like the intake tube off.
Oh my god.
And he got sucked up, and then he would have been fine. Like if he would have just stayed there, I would have found him. I could have turned the filter off. He would have floated out and it would have been fine. However, of course, he was stressed. He puffed up and got the impeller.
Oh my god. Okay, that's enough.
And it was very sad.
That's enough.
So it's one of those lessons that I'm never going to keep a hang-on back filter in with another.
It's so sad when stuff like that happens because it's so unintentional and it's not your fault. So
fish
sad.
die, and obviously if you have 100 neon tetras, it's one dies, you're like but there's definitely fish that when they die, especially like I don't think it was my fault, but I still feel like if I would have just had a sponge filter instead of a hang-on back.
But why would you think he would attack? Why would you think that would happen, though? See, that's one of those things where you would not expect that to happen. That's not common, so why would you know? Don't feel bad.
And again, I almost thought he was going to survive it because it was just his belly that was shredded, and he was still eating and moving around. I moved him into a bare-bottom tank, and I almost thought he was going to make it, but he made it a little over a week.
Poor guy.
And that was about it. I think there's there might be a video on my channel of I think it's one of the cutest videos of a snail crawling down its forehead over its mouth.
Oh my god!
And he doesn't even care. He was
funny.
not interested. It was pretty funny.
He wanted to ambush something, not have it crawl on him. Come on now.
But these are very cool. Again, ambush puffers. They will burrow. They will eat your fish. So the Malibu and the spotted Congo are community safe.
Yes.
But obviously the ambush puffers you got to watch out for.
Yeah, they're not quite community safe, guys.
With my Malibu, he did take out a Cory because they were going for the same
It was an accident.
shell, the same little
Unfortunate
piece of
accident.
clam. So he became a meal. But it's another thing where you go online and everyone says that puffers are the most mean, angry fish out there. And besides the ambush puffers, I couldn't find. It couldn't be further from the truth.
I find that in fish keeping, generalized statements seem to rule all, and it's so annoying with aggression and things just difficult to keep fish. Is it difficult to keep, or was it difficult for you to keep? It just really, I think a lot of it comes down to, you know, trying your best the way you do things, because everybody keeps fish differently. So.
All right, enough of this mellow yellow.
No more?
There it is. The
Oh.
Bishers, the Bikers, the Bickers.
Bitchers.
Mm-hmm.
All of the above. I say
Um,
bicher. I don't know.
You know, it's this one I have a little snippet at the bottom because I think it's very cool when you find fish that have lungs and can breathe air, and
that is cool.
these are one of them.
Just like you and me, folks.
Out of all of these, I've only kept the Senegalis. Actually, when I got back into the hobby in like 2000, the early teens, maybe 13, I don't know. One of the first fish I got was a Senegalis, and I got the normal one, and I got an albino one, and then I got rope fish to put with it, and it was just a really fun tank.
Little logs everywhere.
Yeah, the Senegalis is another one that get a lot bigger in the wild than they do in our aquarium. I think you'd be hard to find one that's over a foot long in the aquarium trade. Most of them are going to be about 8 inches.
Still
But in
big.
the wild, there's reports of, 14 inches. So just another one of those, they just don't grow as big in the aquarium as they do in the wild, which it's all right. This is a fish that the more I see, the more I fall in love with them. In one of our recent trips, we fell in love with the gold dust.
I want them. And
eventually we'll have the gold dust. But
yeah.
as far as west or the Congos, you're gonna have the Senegalis, the Ornitopinus, and I'm not even okay. I'll try it. Mokalabalembe,
Mokalembe. Malembe. That one's cool, actually.
or the
I
reticulated.
like that one a lot. It's pretty. I don't know if I've heard of that.
If you want to see these full grown, I highly recommend heading on over to KG Tropicals, and in almost all his background videos, or tanks in the background, you'll see his gigantic bichers in the background. How do you say it?
Bashir, like Zen said
Bashir.
Bashir. I think that's a common one.
Sheer.
Bicker. I hear people say that a lot, and it bothers me for some reason.
Bicker. Yeah, I
Doesn't
don't like the
seem right.
bicker.
It
I say bicher.
Yeah, I
but
say bicher. That's what I say.
to each their own.
Yep.
I don't have a lot to say about these because I've only kept Senegalis. What about you?
I've never kept a Bashir, Bicher, Bitcher,
Really?
Bicker. No, I've never kept them, and
What's the
it's
matter with
pretty.
you?
I know it's pretty sad. You know what? I didn't feel like I focused so much on like geos and cichlids that I didn't get into those type of oddballs as much, and I would have wanted a larger tank for them because personally, I feel like I'd want over 200 gallons for these guys regardless, just because of the size most of them get and the fact that they do like to move around a lot, and I just didn't have room for that. So.
And admittedly, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with Polypterus, but I wanted to throw them in here just to kind of convey the
Look at the range of
the
fish.
variety.
Yeah, a huge one, huge range.
That is true. Rachel has some large ones as well. I have 2 bikers with 3 Oscars.
Wow. How big is your tank, Paul?
55 gallon.
It's a 20 long. It's fine. I'm going to upgrade it eventually.
All right.
I put coin long ear sunfish in my sister's wedding barn pond. That's funny. I hope she was okay with that.
Pantadon Bulleseye.
Bulleseye.
I like mine way better.
Yeah. Pantadon Bulleseye. So this was a fish. These are my little mini arowanas, as I like to call them, because tell me that
they're fancy.
Tell me that doesn't look like a mini arowana. So I had seen these guys so many times, and I remember, because of course I've been obsessed with West Africans, and I was like, I want something different. I want to try something. So I kept seeing these guys. I did some research, and people were like, they're so sensitive, and they're this and they're that, and I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna do what I always do and buy it anyways and see how it goes. So I got myself just one guy. Let me tell you, what a fun fish to keep. Like, I can't tell you, like, I'm so glad I took a chance, because they were not difficult to keep. Lids, people, with these guys. They are jumpers if I've ever seen jumpers. So absolutely lids with these guys, but what a fun fish to keep. They do stay at the top, so they remind me of like half beaks. You really need to have a tank that's kind of at an angle where you can see.
Hatchet fish.
Yes, or hatchet fish, which I'm looking at right now, so I should have thought of that. But they stay at the very tippy top. You are not going to see these guys go more than probably 3 inches down, and that's generally if food is falling. And if anything hits the top of the water, they are going to go for it, and they're going to jump, and that's why I say lid, lid, lid. But they're brown fish. I mean, there's not anything spectacular about their color, but look at their finnage and look at their body shape. You just don't see fish like this. They look like little butterflies. and they only get to be about 4 inches. So I will say, if you don't keep them with small tetra, because like I said, you get a tetra that's too small and does a little weird flicking movement, and they're going to go for it. They're definitely opportunistic feeders. I wouldn't say they're aggressive or that they're going to eat every fish in your tank, but if something does that movement, that herky-jerky movement, that's prey to them, and they're going to go after it. And I could also see them absolutely getting something caught in their mouth, because they have a pretty big mouth, and I think sometimes they think they can bite off far more than they can chew. But such a cool fish to keep. I'd say like 40 gallon for 2 would be fine. I had 2 in a 40 gallon, never had an issue.
Can they be kept in groups?
They can be kept in groups. They don't mind each other.
I don't know if they've been spawned in the aquarium.
I do not know. I didn't do a lot of research on spawning them because, frankly, I never planned on it. I think they're male heavy. What's available in the aquarium trade, for some reason, it's just one of those species where there's more males available. But and I think they're easily. I can't remember how to sex them, but I think it's pretty easy to tell males from females. I think it has something to do with the finnage, but they're just really, really cool fish. And I don't even know if anybody else who've kept them. Like, I think there's such a stigma about them being finicky or difficult to keep, and mine were very hardy. The biggest thing with these guys, like I said, is you need a lid. They're going to fly out of your tank if you don't have a lid. But other than that, keep them. Little baby arowanas. What's not to love about that? Super cool.
And now, this nice brown turd in the middle.
I like those, though.
Here's what I love about this fish. I've never kept them, but I have been fortunate enough to see them in the aquarium. And when people think of knife fish, they think of these big, giant,
huge.
2-3 foot long fish. But these guys are considered like dwarf knife fish. And by dwarf, I mean they're still going to get like a foot at dwarf, max.
Though. Yeah.
Normally they're going to get around 10 inches, though. You might get a little more out of them.
And they're long and slender. So.
But a group of these in like an 8-foot tank is so fun to watch. I don't really have a lot to say about them. There's not a lot of color. There's not a lot of flash, but I think they make up for it in their unique body shape, their unique swimming style. I mean, it's a fish without a dorsal fin.
Yeah, it's a very surprising looking fish. People would be impressed by that.
They're very cool. They're very majestic when you watch them swim. I think is a good way to.
They float. They're floaters in a good way, not the bad kind.
It's kind of like if you watch like a snake slowly swimming in water. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
It's hypnotic to watch the way they move. Like it is. It's really cool.
But they're also like very fast.
Yeah, they're fast.
And they will jump. So tight lids, folks. Tight lids.
Lids.
And then, as I mentioned earlier, mormorids. There are hundreds of mormorids.
So many.
There are so many in the Congo. This is a long snouted elephant fish. These are one that, poor eyesight, but they send out the little electrical signals.
Use electromagnetic fields, guys. They're very intelligent fish. These are
you can
very
stick magnets on them.
Jesus Christ. Please do not stick magnets on your fish. Disclaimer. Please do not ever try and stick a magnet on any of your fish. They're very, a lot of them are very big into like social groups. A lot of them like to be in big groups. Some of them do not, but a lot of them do. They get very large, many species of them, but they range from like 5 inches to like 3 feet. Like it's crazy the scope of these
Some
guys.
of them are over 5 feet long,
yeah,
as
I
we'll
believe
see, because I think I have one in the next slide. Let's just take. The room.
Yeah.
Oh no, the room only gets 30 inches. There's one there's a species that gets over 5 feet.
Freaking cool fish though. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so on the left there we have the Massocymbellus brichardi.
That's right, we do.
Which is a blind eel.
Could you tell? Could you tell?
And I just thought it was so unique because when do you ever see like a white leucistic eel?
Yeah, it's pretty wild looking.
It's very fleshy.
Very phallic. Like it's quite interesting looking, but.
And these, like I said, they come around probably once every 5 years, but you can find them. They're similar. Care is very easy, as most of these fake eels are.
Love the fake eels.
Mm-hmm.
Massocymbellus is a very common group of fake eels.
Again, this is one of those ones where if you ever see it, you got to buy it because you're never going to see it again.
The wet spot had them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only place I know that's actually had them, and it was years ago.
And we actually keep Massus Symbellus grashoffi, which is from that general area also.
A little farther south.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a little further down, but same general idea. And very cool fish.
Very rewarding. Snail eaters.
Yeah. Who knew?
Which was very
Not me.
surprising to me when every time, like the first time I saw him, his like beak
I didn't
inside of a
believe
snail
him.
shell, I was like, I immediately like, it's eating a snail. And it makes sense because there's no snails in that tank. There's shells.
There's shells everywhere. We're like, where the hell are these snails going? This
Like
is not good.
They're packing up and leaving home.
Yeah. Nope, they're getting eaten by the eel, which is so cool, and I love that thing. Very, very cool. Again, don't see them often. Very rare.
And then, of course, we have the room, which I just included.
It's cool looking, dude.
Because when do you see, like, these ones get almost 3 feet.
It's a silly looking fish.
I really thought I picked the one that was, because I got a photo
3 feet's pretty big.
of a guy holding the one that's almost 6 feet.
Still, though, 3 feet,
Yeah.
that's large. Curtis, thank you. Leo, thank you. We'll float too. Well, most people float.
Yeah?
That's usually true.
This is why I don't understand how people drown. Like, you literally
Oh my
float.
God.
What?
Here we go with that again.
Just saying.
How do people drown? I have no idea. Who knows?
Nationwide had a Burchardii for only $5. I'm surprised it's that cheap, to be honest.
How much? 500?
$500 for a very unique fish like
Yeah.
this.
It doesn't surprise me the high price point in general for the Congo fish. So.
I always sleep on Nationwide. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're a good one. They're a good one.
Mm-hmm. But there you go. There's our spiel. Currently 1,100 species of fish described, with them expecting it to be about 1,300, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's about 2,000 because, let's be honest, nobody is going to the Congo. Nobody is going to the depths of the Congo and finding new fish. It's just not happening. So yeah, this is a sunrise on the Congo River. I was looking for a sunset, but this is the best I could do.
Still pretty.
Since the end of the talk, I figured end of this.
The sun rises on this talk.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Ooh, that would have been a good
funny.
one. As the sun, I should have just said it was a sunset. Just like, who's gonna know?
Somebody would have known.
I know.
Somebody
Like,
would have called you out.
Actually, that's
By the way, the sun's going up.
That's not the west.
I don't know why everybody who would correct us sounds like that.
Because everyone who's that.
Shut up,
Yeah.
nerd.
Shut
Get
up,
out of here,
nerd.
freaking dork. Fishy chick. Hi, everybody's saying hi. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I thought I kept this short, but that was almost an hour.
Yeah,
that was
it was
actually
long.
a little longer than an hour.
How'd you like that, folks?
Yeah, let's come back. I didn't turn all the lights on, so I'm gonna minimize us so we can look at some gobies here.
Oh.
Since I'm in the shadows.
That's I don't see. Oh yeah, you are in the shadow. Never mind. I see.
I am in the shadows. Let us know what you think. We're probably going to try to do one of these at the end of every month. So if you have any suggestions on what you would like us to give a talk about.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's this. It would be a talk. Yeah, we would be talking about it. So it's real.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what are you throwing around?
It's an
My
Allen
God.
wrench. I was fiddling with an Allen wrench.
Oh. I was fiddling with an Allen wrench.
Also, I got to put on my YouTube cap here. It is the end of the month, and at the end of the month, I always ask for super chats because you got to do it. So, if at any point in this month you've got $1 worth of value from our content, that's all, leave a dollar tip, a $1 super chat. Let us know you got something out of it.
Boo. Yeah, this is like our PowerPoint. My God, he put a lot of effort into that.
Okay, now that's the end of my spiel on super chats.
He's done.
I feel so dirty.
What? Shut up.
Ugh.
God, I've seen so much worse.
I know.
It's all right.
That's about the best I got in me.
It's all right.
Dave says, great presentation, you two. This is a fun format.
Oh, okay, good.
I like the formats where I'm not on camera, so I can, pick my nose and you can't even see me.
They say a dinosaur-like creature lives in the Congo. Yeah, pterodactyls.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's supposed to live in the Congo.
Yes,
people don't
there
make it
are
back.
many reports of people seeing pterodactyls in the Congo, and there was even that National Geographic from the 50s that showed a photo of one that now has been erased off the internet. So, very interesting. I'd be very curious to go there if I wouldn't almost be guaranteed to die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if I didn't have a family now, I probably would go because who cares, right?
God. There's a way to look at it, folks.
I mean...
I guess I'll live now that I've got people. Let's
go hang out with the pygmies.
Mm.
Is that...
That's New Guinea.
No, there's
Oh,
pygmies
the
in the
pygmies.
Congos.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if that's politically correct. I don't know if they care.
Oof, I don't
But-
know. Someone's coming for you at some point. That's all I know. That's all I know. Sauropod. Oh, really? Interesting. I didn't hear about that. I just heard about pterodactyls. Well, who knows what goes on in the Congo? A lot of people don't make it back to tell the tale, so, you know.
I went fishing down near Miami for bass. It's insane when you catch cichlids and see how big they grow in the wild.
Yeah, I bet. How weird to fish and catch a cichlid. That's
Oh,
bizarre.
nice. Speaking of that,
That'd be pretty cool. What?
I'm going through, trying to find some questions from earlier. Are Pelvicchromis taniotis fussier than Pulcher? Water
No.
parameters? No. No.
Nope. I mean, you might get a collection point that's wild caught that could be a little more sensitive, but I've never had trouble with taniotis.
Ross says the Disotus are beautiful. Saw in person at one of my
Aren't they
LFSs.
great? They're so. I'd say they're probably, in my opinion, like one of the most underrated fish out there. They're so cool, and you don't see anything else like them. So.
Aquatic Moose says, one day I'll find myself a woman to help me pronounce big words too. One of her many attributes. Why isn't Chelsea already making more shorts? That's a
Brandon,
good
why are you always on me,
question.
man? Like, you're really. You know what? Fine, I will. I've got a lot of video, so I should.
Mark says, I bought a lot of fish at Woolworths in the 70s. I've
God.
never been to a Woolworths, but I feel like
They're
I
not
miss
around
it.
anymore. Are they?
There's a lot of stores that I miss from even the 80s.
Put on your Sunday best, kids. We're going to Sears.
Nick says, yeah, I haven't seen you guys do this before. Only been watching for 2 months or so. Yeah, never done it.
First time for everything. You know, it's, for me personally, it is a subject that I could never get enough of. Like, I just love my West African fish so much that I want more people to love them the way I love them. So I'm glad he's on board because I've always been hot for him. So
I don't know if I put it in the slide, but the Congo River has the most species of fish, the second most behind the Amazon River,
yeah,
obviously.
And the
So-
parameters are very similar. We've said this many times. If you keep South American fish successfully, there's a very good chance you could successfully keep West African fish. So.
Yes, the tiger fish also from there.
Oh yeah, those are pretty gnarly.
Mhm.
Those are sweet. I think those were on River Monsters one time. That was a cool show, actually.
There's supposed to be an actual aquatic dinosaur in the Congo.
Oh, is there like a Nessie? Interesting.
Jacob says, if you could do a 55-gallon Congo tank, what would you put in it? I'm
Well-
going to say there's definitely going to be spotted Congo puffers.
Like at least 2 or 3. Yeah. Probably 3. And then I would put the Lampi Congos. I'd probably do Fantastiques, which we did not include, but are another honorable mention. So Phenacogrammus Fantastique. They're gorgeous.
They are fantastic.
They look similar to the Burchardi, but they're like bright red with a little hit of blue, like bluish purple. They're really, really pretty. Again, they're going to set you back like $50 a piece. You're going to pay for them. But God, what a cool tank. I'd probably throw in the 2 Gelsey because they just go so well.
So basically all the fish you already have.
All the fish I already have, and yeah. I'm sorry. I'm very fortunate to have these fish, and that's what I would do because I love them. I love. I get more enjoyment out of that West African tank than I'm obsessed with it. It's amazing, the fish in there. So that's what I would do. It would be expensive.
Paul says, I was lucky. I had 3 tanks given to me when the Maidenhead Aquatic stores closed down.
Oh,
There was
nice.
an 8-foot. Oh, I think he said his tank was 300 gallons.
Oh, okay. That's a
Yeah.
good size. Yeah, nice.
Maybe it was 200, but I'm pretty sure he said 300.
I figured it was big. That's Maidenhead. Yeah, they had some good stuff at Maidenhead. I'd always see and I'm like, man, I wish I could get fish there.
India has some cool freshwater fish too. Yep.
Yeah, they do.
Mhm.
Yes, they do.
I actually know somebody who's been there, and right near where they collect scarlet batis is where he was, and I was like, if
That's
you
cool.
go again,
Just
I'm
grab
gonna
me
go
some
get me
batis.
some females.
Yeah, really.
But now it's not very hard to find females like it used to be.
Those red hump earth eaters are so cool. Yeah, they are cool.
Mhm.
They're kind of assholes, but they're cool. They're not all. Most of them are, though.
Congo River is over a mile
Yep,
wide.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. That's why I said there's so many different types of water within that river system. Like, you have every type
Swamp,
of fish.
rapids.
Yeah. You have complete still water sections. You have super fast running rapids. It's just, that's why that houses such a wide range of fish. Very, very cool.
Have either of us kept striped barbs? What's the scientific name?
Can I get a scientific name? I don't know anything about these common names. Striped barbs. I'm trying to think of what that might be.
Well, I mean, we have the striped barbs.
Yeah,
they're
there's
the fires. Striped.
Right.
Sometimes they're called like the
banded barbs. That's what when I first purchased them, they were sold as African banded barbs, but they are Barbus fasciolatus or whatever the new stupid name is that I'm not adhering to.
Irritomodus. Something.
I'm gonna be old and crotchety about this one. Barbus fasciolatus.
Just like me and my Corridoras.
I'm not. Yeah. Well, I draw the line there too. It's ridiculous.
We have a line in the sand. On this side of the line, there's still Corridoras.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to decide what to get for my 75 to go with my leopard. Oh, you have leopard tenopoma. Oh. So I kept leopard tenopoma.
I was excited.
Shut up. Shut up. I kept leopard tenopoma.
I put up with?
I had two. Old Flotsam and Jetsam. I don't know. They weren't really named that, but like I called them that. Mine were 5 inches, so they're big fish, right? And you want to talk about a fish that will try and eat anything. Like they see a smaller tetra and they're like, I can fit that in my mouth, even if it's like 5 times the size of their mouth. So other than that, they're quite retiring, like a lot of perches. So they're a perch, they're a gourami, they're an anabantid. They are reserved. They're ambush predators. So they're not very boisterous. They kind of just sit back most of the time, but when food's involved, that's when you see them go crazy. I don't know if you've experienced that, Dave, but that's what I experienced. I wouldn't keep anything small with them. I'd say you could get away with like any type of full-grown Congo Tetra. You could make that happen, but I would not try anything when it's small because mine would go after everything. I actually kept them in a tank with other cichlids around their size. I didn't even keep schooling fish with them because of how frequently they went after them.
Speaking of our gold dust, biters.
Yeah, there they are. Sweet little faces. But yeah, I would try like you could definitely do something that stays down low. Like I kept mine with Geophagus. So I had the geos would stay down low and the tenopomas like to be either at the tippy top, the very top of the water column, or kind of in the middle, but usually up top and behind something. Like I said, mine were really quite shy. So for being 5 inches and huge, I got them, they were a ½ inch. They got real big.
M&C, I'm going to say I haven't kept this because I do not recognize that name at all.
Oh, I like that. Desmopontius johorensis.
I rearrange everything. Where is it? Here we go.
Striped barb. I've seen that before, but no, I've never kept those.
Very,
I like it. I like it.
These, I believe, are actually from the Congo as well. Let me double check here.
Is that why you're asking? I wonder if it's because they're Congo fish.
Distribution. Oh, Thailand. I couldn't be more wrong.
I've seen those
Jack
somewhere.
Talk Thai.
Jack Talk Thai very well.
Jack Talk Thai very well.
Got it.
So anyways.
Yeah, I like them. They're cool.
There is a very similar looking fish in the Congo.
Yeah.
With the black stripes.
That. I really like the white and black. That's cool. Or like the silver and black, I guess, but it looks like white.
I almost put him in the presentation, but I couldn't find a copyright-free image of him. So
of course not.
Did not make the cut. But very similar to this. No, I would keep these for sure.
Yeah, those are cool.
These are very cool.
I like the body shape. They kind of remind me of the gold barbs.
There we go. Here we are. We're back. I like unique and unusual fish like the Tetia woodcats. Those are very cool. Getting very expensive though. When I kept them, I think I bought them for like $6. Now they're like 30. It's ridiculous. How are the water skinks? You still have one left? Yep, he just sits in the water all day, all night.
He's the grumpiest looking animal I've ever seen in my life.
He was actually out of the water the other day.
I saw him too.
Which is very rare.
He was out walking around when I saw him. He doesn't really walk. He kind of sits there until you see him, then he runs, and then he jumps back in the water.
They're very shy.
Yeah, he doesn't really. They're like red-eyed crocodile skinks. They want nothing to do with you, like nothing. That's fine. He lives in his little tank and does his thing. It's all good.
MSC Aquatics says pretty peaceful. I have a group of 6, but very active like Danios. Are you gonna try to spawn them?
If they're like Danios, that might drive me crazy. I like fish that move, but I don't like fish that move spastically. So maybe if they're more intentional with the way they move, I'd be okay with it. But like Danios, I feel like they have no idea what they're doing ever.
So like the giant Danios are too spastic,
Ugh.
but I don't mind the Danios that are only spastic during feeding time because I think that's fun.
Yeah, that's like rainbow fish, though. I feel like a lot of rainbow
on
fish.
steroids.
Yeah. Well,
Fish for Life says I currently have lamp-eye Congos.
Nigroptris burchardi, Altus,
and also has
Disotus, Tugelsi, butterfly
Tugelsi.
Barbs, Nanochromis, and Congo. Oh, Congochromis are cool.
Mhm.
I love. Oh, that's very cool.
Another one I couldn't find any
That's
images
very,
of.
very cool. All of those are. I would love. Kept a lot of them. Love.
The
Great fish.
Tatia woodcat was in reference to possible fish to eat my nano fish culls.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's another really fun fish to feed too.
Yeah, that's a good one. That will eat. That's a good one to eat a cull.
I
for
miss my
sure.
little baby orcas.
Oh.
Such a pretty fish. What species of Nanochromis do you have, though?
Yeah, that's a good question. And Congochromis.
I want to find a video of my burchardi because I feel like I should have included it. Oh, I can do videos in those. Interesting.
I need something unique to catch my interest that is breedable, can live in a 20 to 30 gallon, and eat my nanofish culls. That's a tall order. And a 20 to 30 gallon. I don't know. I might have to think on that for a minute.
No, fish man.
That was fun.
Aiden, member for 20 months. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I cannot find my video, but I'm going to take Oliver Lucanis' video because it's going to be way better than mine, too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, not yet.
please don't copyright strike me, Mr. Lucanis.
We love you and sing your praises all the time.
This is all in good faith, but this fish is so cool.
CEO Oliver Lucanis. What's more?
Full screen this biz.
Look at that. Look
See
at
the
that
reds?
shape. Yeah, they get really. It's almost like pink. It's very pretty.
This is like in 360p. What? This must be a really old video.
I think it probably is older.
Um,
You can still see the color though. I mean, look, there it is. Yeah.
The entire dorsal on the males are white.
Enter the cutest fish ever.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. We're darling. I mean, they're all cute, but I'm sorry.
Jet black,
Yeah.
white tipped fins.
They remind me
It's
of buffalo
the-
head too.
The red during spawning.
I used
love
giant
these.
Danios to break in my 75. I was so glad to get rid of them. Yeah. Freaking nightmares.
Legion, these are the Teleogramma burchardi that we had in our talk. They're going to run you. Last time they were available, they were about $60 a pair. I wouldn't be surprised if they're over $100 now, given current state of fish prices. But you see what I mean
Especially
when I
from
said they
there.
kind of just like bounce around the bottom?
This is like many fish with that reduced swim bladder. So fish that live in the rapids, they don't swim in the water column. That's not how they're designed. They couldn't do it if they wanted to. So that's why they kind of hop around like goby. They're unable to swim around. You'll see them kind of jump up and then float back down. But they like that.
Get out of here, puffer.
Or try and bite a $200 fish in the face. No, I'm just kidding. That was fine. Or maybe not. I don't know. But they're just, the hopping is what gets me. I freaking love it. Like, well, he's clearly trying to get down with the lady
He's
there.
trying to get some.
And they're in the way. So it's their fault.
Huge shout out to doesn't show. Oh, right here.
Below Water.
Water.
Oliver Lucanis.
My favorite fish YouTube channel of all time.
Mine too.
Currently
Well, besides our channel.
deserves. No, I like his better than mine.
It's a really good channel. It's
Deserves
very
way more than.
informative.
I've been following this channel since like 1,000.
I think I was gonna say I really think he had like
And it
under
wasn't-
2,000.
It
when I
wasn't
started
called
following
Below
him.
Water. It was something else.
It was. I've
I
always
think it was
loved
just
it
his
though.
name.
It's because his voice. I feel like it's very rhythmic, and I listen to the information and I actually take it in. Whereas with some people, if their voice bothers me, I don't even listen to what they're saying.
Go subscribe, and I know it
Yeah.
says I'm not subscribed, but if you look up here, you'll see that I'm
He's
not
not
even logged
signed in.
in. So
We are both subscribed and regularly. When a new video comes out, we both ask each other, "Have you seen Oliver
Have you seen
Lucanis'
it?
new
Have
video?"
you seen it? Have you
we
seen it?
always ask. Yeah, and he just did one on Corey Dorn.
such fanboys.
I know. But really, it's just a great informative channel. You will learn. You want suggestions on fish you haven't heard of? Watch this channel. That's where I learned of a lot of the crazy tetras that I've kept now that are becoming more regularly available. But he will do like constant updates.
Look at one of his
30 new tetra right there.
Shoot, where'd it go? I missed everything here.
30 new tetra.
Congo Rapids.
Boop, boop,
Fish
boop.
of the Congo Rapids, part 1.
Yep. Yeah, there he
there it
is
is right there.
Yep. And go watch his channel. So, it's great.
And
Gets right to the point. It's very informative. Like, it's very helpful.
Okay, nobody cares about those though.
Ah, look at those babies.
Did we basically just steal all the fish that he has in this
Probably.
video? Oh no, here we go.
There we go.
I almost put these in here, but again, I couldn't
Gara.
find any. They're not Gara.
Aren't
They are not
thought they were
loaches. They are.
They're like SAEs.
They're kind of like a bottia.
Oh, really?
They're very bizarre.
That's cool.
Here's
There they
those
are.
again.
Get out of here, lady.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, great.
Very cool
great
channel.
Now that we're done,
love you, buddy. I hope you don't hate me.
we just love your channel.
Here we go.
Good fish.
Nom 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 nom.
Love, love, love.
Canister is making
Oh,
sounds.
no.
Fingers crossed. It's just
Ugh.
air bubbles from maintenance. Nothing like paranoia to lull you to sleep at night.
No impeller problems. No impeller problems. Just blow it out. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a Congo tank set up right now? Yes, we
Mhm.
do.
We have a few of them, at least two.
We have two.
240
So
breeders.
we've got one with buffalo head and African banded barbs and Pelvicchromis and Wallaciochromis.
Mm-hmm.
And then our other one has the lampi Congo, so the Phenocogrammus. It has the Disotus. It has the spotted Congo puffers and the Mastus cymbellus grishaffi eel. And a random loach.
Jose says, aren't rainbows as spastic as giant Danios? No.
No, giant Daniels are
No.
absolutely ridiculous.
They are like the
Frantic
benchmark.
fish. Frantic fish. I can't take it.
The only thing that I would compare them to is probably like a Pictus catfish, as far as like Pictus catfish are very frantic as well when
I
you feed
hate
them.
it. I hate it.
Oh, excuse me. That's not
My God.
How
Rude.
unprofessional.
Rude.
Rude.
Yeah, I don't do frantic fish. Not my deal. Can't handle it. I know some people like that. I don't. That's why I don't like African cichlids, because a lot of them are very.
They're not frantic.
Yes.
They're more like herky jerky.
'Kay,
They're
I
stop
don't
and go.
like it. No.
They're playing red light, green light.
I don't like it.
That's all I do. Red light, green light.
I don't care for it.
Red
not
light,
my,
green light.
Not my cup of tea. Can't handle it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. That's our spiel. We're gonna cut this for now, so we can kind of just keep a majority of the time on the talk, if you will. So if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, leave a comment after this is public, and members, we'll see you in a couple minutes. Everyone else, we'll see you in a week. We've been working on a fish room video for like the last 2 weeks, so there's gonna be
going on. Yeah.
I don't even know when it's going to be done, but there will eventually be a huge update on the fish room.
Yeah.
What else? We have a few more species spotlights. We're trying to do a weekly species spotlight. We filmed like 4 of them the other day, so we got those.
I always like suggestions for those. We like people to
Yeah.
say, hey, we'd like to hear about X, Y, Z.
Mhm.
So let us know what you want to hear about.
Otherwise, I hope you all have a great week. And TGIM, right? Thank God it's Monday.
Tidgem, for sure.
Someone's got a
Absolutely.
case of the Mondays.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this poor Tegu.
Oh, the poor Tegu.
She needs to shed that nasty skin off.